All right, so here we are again, Robert Christopher Smith. Kurt knows me better as Bobby. We're at my studio. You guys know that better as my apartment. And sitting here, kindly sharing his time with me is my frequent collaborator and good friend, Kurt Belcher. Kurt, do you want to say good morning and kind of tell us who you are?
I'm a comic book writer and artist from Eastern Kentucky. I'm originally from Pikeville, Pikeville area, and I've done a bunch of books at Pilot Studios, Caliber Comics, uh, Source Point Press,
Mhm.
a lot of other places, a lot of very different books too. But
Yeah, that's one of the cool things, right? And I was even thinking about this earlier, how we're going to talk about Spread in a minute and our collaboration on that.
yeah,
But really, that wasn't really your first brush with a character that you created going into the movies, right?
no, that was Rotten Tail that I
Yeah.
did with David Hayes
What a
for
sick idea,
Short
dude.
Point. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that comic, and I love that movie. I
Yeah.
mean, the movie is what it is. It's a lot of fun, and it doesn't try to be more than it is.
No,
It knows
no, I
exactly
liked
what
it.
it is,
Yeah.
and it's just a completely kind of
Yeah.
crazy,
If you like the comic, you
bloody.
would like the movie.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. And vice
Uh,
versa. Vice versa.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty good.
Well, cool. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for being here, dude. And
Yep.
Um, of course, the reason we're actually doing the interview right now is because Spread now is been filmed, it's out. We had a
Yep.
premiere last year. Now it's out on Tubi. It's on Ultavod. People can buy it if they want to keep it. They can just go stream it for free on Tubi and stuff. And so now it's that whole time we're getting out and doing all the promotion stuff. And as I do that, one of the things I'm doing is season 2 of the Lethal Voice podcast.
Uh,
Why is this in my face? And the Lethal Voice podcast, season 1, was called Turning to Vengeance.
yeah.
And it was me telling the story of how Vengeance Turns got made. There were 3 or 4 episodes on that one, on that season, before we ever
Yeah.
even start
All the
thinking
ups
about
and
it.
downs of
Yeah,
movie making.
exactly. About false starts and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This season for Lethal Voice is called Spread the Movie,
Mm.
for obvious reasons. And it's a whole different kind of set of stories that go with it, from
Yeah.
ups and downs both, but from the beginning and how it was made all the way
Yeah.
through getting it distributed, it's really a completely different story.
Yeah.
And
I was going to
I'm
say, I
hoping it
mean,
gives other filmmakers,
Fred
inspiration
presented a whole different series of challenges from Vengeance Turns.
from step one. And that's the whole thing is I'm hoping that the Lethal Voice podcast, as well as these types of interviews and stuff,
Yep.
either scare people the fuck away from trying to be creative,
Yep.
or better yet, it lets them see it's worth it.
Yep. I mean, it makes them more determined.
Right,
Like
exactly. Fight through your
it
challenges.
informs them so that, well, I won't make those mistakes, or I won't have those problems. I'll head those problems off before they happen.
But I
So
will
yeah.
fight through it. I will find a solution. That's and hopefully that's what a lot of people walk away with
Yeah.
after they see the ups and the downs that I've experienced on making my films and stuff. I want it to scare the wrong people away, but I want it to actually be fuel for people who have that attitude of I can do it and I'm willing to fight through it. I'm willing to compromise. I'm willing to negotiate with myself. I'm willing to negotiate and compromise with other people.
Yep.
And
I mean, because I mean, for comics, you can do it all yourself.
yeah, yeah,
But for movies, it's a collaborative. You have to have people around you to make a movie.
you
Whether
do.
you're just distributing it or whether you're getting it financed, and you need actors to
Right.
be in it. So yeah, it's a totally different challenge.
Yeah, and again, we'll get to it, and especially in the podcast and Lethal Voice podcast. But I don't let anything stop me. And in the process, I've learned how to do every single step of post production,
Yeah.
from getting the movie done to getting it rendered to making sure it meets the specs for delivery.
Yes.
Whether you're talking about a DCP, which is the digital cinema projection package that goes to the theater, or
Yep.
whether you're talking about the streaming version and the specs for Ultravod or for Tubi or for whoever. There's so much that people don't take into consideration, and,
Yeah. I
like
mean,
I said, I want them to hear
you
it.
could literally right now, anybody could come to you, a director, a
Yeah,
producer, a writer, an actor,
yeah,
anybody could come to you and say, I want you to do this on this movie, and you could step into that role
yeah.
and know exactly what you need to do.
I could jump in and help them for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's funny because again, it goes back to I get the question a lot when I'm on somebody else's show or from
Yeah.
people that I meet, and they ask me like, if you could just do one thing, what would it be? You know,
Yeah.
and I always go back to if I could only do one thing, one, I would probably be a director
Yeah.
because of the fact
Like
that
not acting, not writing, just
yeah, I can take the writing and I can fuck with it as I direct. Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? That's just
Yeah, I
my
mean because
my
a
freedom.
director is a co-writer, whether they're
Yeah,
listed
essentially,
in the credits or
essentially.
not.
Yeah, I've
Because
got to
it's all
adapt
their
it.
interpretation. It's all
I've got to
their
adapt it to the situation, which
yeah.
is again one of the things that I've learned is budget wise. I've got to adapt it to location,
Mhm.
actors, and things like that. And
Yeah.
so directing, if I could only do one thing, but to me that's right up there with writing.
Yeah.
Then I only started doing acting to kind of support being a better director and writer, but I
Yeah.
didn't fall in love with it as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, because I've always heard that the best directors are former actors who know what their actors want and need to hear.
I had heard that a lot. I never believed it until I started doing it. And now when I
Yeah,
look at some of that stuff, like it comes from like people like Sean Penn and stuff, you
yeah,
can see the amount of thought that is put into it from the writing and the directing side and the acting side. It feels very cohesive. On spread for me. So as I think you know, I've been writing like you have since I was a kid.
Mhm.
And I've been trying to write comic books. I've been trying to write short stories, novels. I've tried to write everything throughout my life.
Me too. Trying being the operative word on that.
Yeah, and it's funny how you settle into things because for no reason at all, other than it seems to be something that I understand it. Right now, at this point in my life, screenplays are where I really feel comfortable,
Yeah,
and from that, a little bit comic scripts are starting to grow as well. But for me, the desire to write comics came earlier. You know, I wanted
yeah,
from the time I read my first Batman comic, Neil Adams comic when I was a kid, uh, all the way up through then like the X-Men and on and on. I've always had that in my mind where I wanted to be a writer.
mhm,
As a 57-year-old, zero desire to work for Marvel or DC. I mean, I would do it if they hired me.
yeah,
But the idea of having a book out with like Image or some indie publisher is one of my biggest goals right now.
yeah. I mean, as an artist, drawing DC and Marvel stuff is always fun. You know, just as a for fun type of thing, not for anything getting paid or anything. But as far as writing, I mean, I could come up with an idea if you say, hey, come up with an idea for Swamp Thing or Dead Man or Batman or whatever. I could come up with something. It wouldn't be a
Right.
problem. But uh,
It's not my goal anymore.
doing it for fun anymore
Yeah,
is like,
yeah,
I've got other things I need to do. I need
yeah.
to focus on.
It would be a big thrill. It'd be a big stroke to my ego if Marvel
Yeah,
called and was like, "Hey, we need a new idea for Spider-Man." I'd be like, "Do you?" You know.
yeah,
But I'm not gonna go chasing that anymore. I'm 57. I'm closer to death than I am to being born. So,
yeah.
you know, at this point, focus on what I know I'm good at.
Me too.
But the real reason I brought that up is the idea of how long I've been writing and the different genres and stuff was because our collaboration on Spread
Mhm,
literally was born kind of out of both. It was born
mhm.
from working on Vengeance Turns. We were already friends. Working on Vengeance Turns though for years and years and years before it got made.
Yep.
Kept on just bugging you and saying, "Hey man, could you make me a drawing of this or of
Sketch the
that?"
character or
Yeah, and helping me land
art or
on
something. Yeah, but
the
I mean, that was a lot
characters.
of fun though. I mean,
You
because
know,
neither of us at that point Neither of us were like, oh, we're chasing a buck or we're
No.
chasing a job or whatever. It was just like, let's just fucking do it.
Yeah, help me understand this, Kurt. And you're like, I'll help you understand this.
Yeah.
And pictures of delicate poison and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then
Getting to draw that, and getting some credit as like a character designer.
yeah, so essentially that's what I'm
concept.
saying is it's like you essentially became like, and that's what I credit you with, is like concept design and stuff like that, character work.
Yeah,
Because
and then
of
of
that
course
really
that eventually
organic.
grew into the comic, doing the comic together.
And that's the thing is then that led naturally. So we both worked together on the film.
Mhm.
I make it, I get you to help me all the way through it. You're just like an organic part of the background on that thing. And then afterwards, when I make that decision to really write my first full length, I'm going to publish this. I don't care if anybody does, but it's my first 20-page full length comic book intended for publication.
Yeah.
Vengeance Turns, Explosions of Truth, to continue the story from the movie. And I don't know if you remember this, but the whole reason why I wanted to do that was because there was an image that I wanted in the movie, and we did not have the budget for it.
Yeah, the ending,
Yeah, that I wanted to have that scene where they're all standing there, and there's the mayhem and the fire and the battle going on behind them, and you've got
yeah,
Ghost and Gloria and Mia and
yeah.
Simon.
It's almost in like I think somebody described it as like a Charlie's Angels.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
one's going this way, one's
Yeah.
going forward, one's going that way.
yeah. Just that big last moment. They're just and there's fire behind them and shit.
Like a wild bunch. The end of
Yeah,
Wild
yeah,
Bunch.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so that one image, as I told you about that back 5, 6 years ago, that's what really
Yep.
spawned building. I wrote a little bit of a connector to get them from the barn at the end of the movie to that, and
Yeah.
continued the story from there. But really, it was just so much. It's so funny how one image can inspire you to write a whole story.
Yep. Yep.
And then when we were talking about this, we were kind of doing our wrap up on that, if you remember. We were doing
Yep.
a Zoom call. And while we were kind of just having a casual conversation, I need to see if I recorded that, by the way. But while we were having that kind of wrap up on Vengeance Turns, we started talking about slasher movies. And you asked me why I had never made a slasher movie.
Yeah, because I mean that seemed like every director, like a low, like small indie filmmaker.
Yeah.
That's what they always do.
Yeah,
They
it's-
always go for horror movies because horror movies sell, and because they're, if you do it right, they're pretty, pretty
Yeah.
easy and pretty cheap to produce.
And this was exactly our conversation. And I was like, so I don't know, man. Maybe that's why. Maybe it just seemed too obvious. I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, and I remember
Yeah,
you were
I think you were kind of like, well, it seems like everybody does that. Like you said, everybody goes to that. So should
you
I
were
do
joking
that?
with me, and you kind of poked me. It was funny because
Yeah.
clearly you were joking with me, and you're like, "Oh, so you don't have any ideas?" Like I get you.
Yeah.
Keep talking. You don't have any ideas. I read you loud and clear. And I said, "Well, I've got really one idea, and it would be like these brothers, and you don't know what's going on. It borrows from Scream, and da 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 da." And we were talking for a while, and you just were writing down a couple of things, and you're like, "Dude, this is a movie." You held up some notes, and you were like, "This is a movie. Let's do it."
Yeah.
It really did kind of just. I mean, there's more to it than that, but it did kind of just springboard from that.
Yeah.
So the way that we ended up collaborating is as I've been going back and reflecting and looking back over the making of Spread
Uh-huh.
so that we can spread the movie. One of the things I was looking at, I contacted you the other day, was our initial notes page, that shared notepad where we started developing the characters.
Yep.
And right now, I want to take a strange, tangent, a segue.
Yeah.
And you'll understand why. When you were growing up, did you, and do you maybe still, play Dungeons and Dragons?
I did some when I was a kid, but not a huge amount.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it in years. So yeah.
I would in fact go as far as to say I was in the OG groups of kids
Yeah.
that played.
Like late 70s, but when Gary Gygax came out with the Monster Manual and all that.
Absolutely.
Stuff.
Because believe it or not, where I don't have the best family and the best memories in the world, occasionally my mom would do stuff by accident that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And one of the things was she knew I was into fantasy and just weird stuff, and she never knew how to really connect with me on that. And when the Dungeons and Dragons stuff first started coming out, she went out and bought some of it and gave it to me. She was like, "This seems like something, up your alley."
Yeah.
And I
Did she ever
remember,
actually play it with you?
oh no, no, no,
No, no, wasn't interested in it. I thought
not
maybe
that.
that would be like her connection to you. Would be like,
Yeah,
oh well, let's
yeah,
sit down
yeah.
and play this.
No, no, more like I understand you. Now go away.
Yeah,
Um, find other nerds.
yeah.
And I did. I found other nerds, like
Nerd.
at,
Find other nerds.
at church and stuff like that. I found out that there were other
Yeah,
kids talking about a couple years older than me in general, talking about Dungeons and Dragons. I was like, "Ooh, I just got that. That's cool. I got the main book and I got a module and all this stuff. And
yeah,
so it was a way for me as kind of an introverted kid to start connecting with people and stuff like that. But what I really connected with was the idea of creating characters because I was already a writer.
yeah.
And so what struck me on Spread and our development, our collaboration, did you ever really consider how similar it was to us doing like a D&D campaign? Because it hit me in the face the other night.
Yeah, I mean, because that's like we were talking about earlier. That's a collaboration,
Yeah,
and that's a back and forth. And
yeah,
you have to think on your feet. And you have to come up with things as you
yeah.
snowball and spitball all this stuff.
It
So yeah,
was
it
so
is.
much like, I mean, clearly it wasn't, but it was so much like parallel to a D&D game, but we were both the dungeon master and we were both the players was the
Yeah,
difference, you know? But it started with us creating this list of characters. And by the way, one of the most satisfying collaborations I've ever done for all the reasons I'm talking about right now.
mm,
And something that I don't know if it's ever even repeatable. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Even if we tried it, it's just such lightning in a bottle, what happened.
yeah,
But creating that list of characters and then going back and forth on that list of characters, back and forth on stuff like their names, like first naming them, but then going back and saying, hey, what if we give her or him this nickname? Or what if we change their name to this or their name to that?
yeah.
Like, do you remember that Ishan started with a different name?
His name was Ehud, I think.
Ehud,
Yeah,
Ehud.
that was something I was gonna say that that's where the collaboration extended into the actor.
Yeah,
Because you met with the actor, and the actor was like, "Well, that name doesn't really go for
right.
somebody of my ethnicity. What
Yeah,
about this name?"
yeah, totally, man. Like I said before, that thing about adapting on the spot, as the
Yeah,
director and going, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. And the actor helping us see that so that he in the movie is literally a minority.
yeah,
He's an Indian Muslim, and they
hmm
exist, and the backstory that we gave him makes sense. And again, it ends up adding to it, to where like that's the D&D part of it to me was the fact that like once we knew this thing about the actor and we decided to integrate it, now in my mind we started knowing who his mom and dad were
hmm
and
yeah.
stuff like that. One's
You
from
have to,
Pakistan and
yeah.
one's from
You have to
India.
go and like grow all that stuff. It's like fractals. Everything has to spread out from those characters. You have to
There it
add so
is.
much background. It's like you hear all the time actors being like, "I wrote this 120 page, book about what my character was like and how he was since he grew up, when he was a kid or whatever." And I remember you've probably seen that video recently of William Friedkin being interviewed about all the actors he's worked with, like Nick Nolte, Tommy Lee Jones, Benicio del Toro, and how different all of them were. And like Nick Nolte went away and wrote a whole book, and he was like, "Oh, here's my character," and Friedkin's like, "Oh, okay," and throws it to the side. Yeah, that was interesting. That's great. Sure, we'll go with that.
That's
So
my
yeah,
habit, dude. When I get hired for a movie, like the short that I was in a couple of years ago, where I played the
yeah,
evil bad guy, I made up a bunch of stuff. I told the director about it. He was like, "That's great, but not this. This isn't like this. This is like this instead, and this is
yeah,
like this." I was like, "Okay, great." And then I like,
yeah. Dial it back.
yeah. But yeah, man. So the whole thing, this D&D like aspect of it, uh, and like knowing that we had certain like benchmarks, like when we started creating the characters, and then I had kind of already given you this 30,000 foot overview of what I thought
Mm,
the plot would be like and stuff, where we started trying to find those benchmarks. inside the plot for it to
Yeah.
move in a way or whatever. It led to, like, for me, like a really interesting story. Like for me, again, a lot of directors and writers don't like to watch what they've created. Have you
Hmm.
ever heard this? Like Spielberg, he basically says after he makes it, he doesn't watch it.
Really, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, a few directors are like that. I believe Lynch was like that. I'd have to go back and make
Well,
sure.
I know that Lynch was like, I don't want to explain things. I wasn't sure
Yeah,
about
for
if he
sure.
didn't like watching them or not. I've heard that about a lot of actors. Like Adam Driver doesn't like
Yeah,
watching himself
yeah,
in movies,
it's behind me,
but I
man.
hadn't heard that
I'm
about
on to my
directors.
next project.
Yeah,
Whether it's narcissism, ego, or what, I really have the habit on some of my projects of going back and watching them and rewatching them.
hmm,
And Spread is one that I've done that on, and I've watched it a few times, like trying to just get it out of my head that I made it. Like, let me just
yeah,
watch this the way I would watch Friday the 13th. Or
yeah,
if Kurt sent it to me saying, "Hey man, I saw this and thought you would like it." And other than, there are small problems with it because of the budget or whatever, they're not outstanding. They're not stuff that wouldn't be in another movie.
no,
The look and feel of the movie are way beyond what I expected, and the story works, man. And we did a great job. I'm breaking my arm to pat me and you on the back, but we really did a great job of introducing these characters and making the introduction of the characters work as a means to build up the tension, to constantly be ratcheting up the tension throughout it,
yeah,
and discovering who they are while making decisions on are they the killer or not, because we had that purposeful attitude of we wanted the audience to accuse everybody.
yeah.
It's
We wanted red herrings sprinkled throughout the movie, and also, almost by necessity because you didn't have a lot of time and you didn't have a lot of money to spend uh, on a lot of different shooting a lot of different angles, shooting a lot of different takes. Uh, the script had to be very precise. You wrote exactly what you were going to shoot. And you did it exactly according to the screenplay that we wrote. And I don't think there was anything really left out of
no,
the
maybe
screenplay.
modified, but we talked about it beforehand and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And yeah, it took, and it was interesting. So I'm gonna get into this on the podcast too.
yeah,
But the way I shot it was a little different than anything else that I've worked on, and I
mhm,
explained it to the actors going in as well. I was like, we're gonna cross shoot it so that we've got the main camera with my cinematographer Jessica Gallant on it, but we're also gonna always have a B cam set up that's just gonna catch additional footage.
yeah,
And originally Jessica was not even hip to this. She was like, ah. And then after she saw a couple of the things that I got
yeah,
from it, she was like, okay, you're right, I'm wrong.
yeah. And she's a great cinematographer. That movie, I mean, I love how Vengeance Turns looks, but I think Spread is like head and shoulders above as far as
Me
like
too.
the angles and the lighting, the shooting,
Much more
and
planned out,
uh,
like you said. I went into Vengeance Turn shocked that we were doing it.
yeah,
And just like being thrilled every morning that it was happening. And
yeah,
on Spread, I went into it with much more of an idea. You just said it, that I knew from my lessons that I'd learned on Vengeance Turns. I
yeah,
stripped down the cast. There was not 40 or 50 people. There were 9.
yeah,
There were not 5 different locations. There was one.
yeah. You went big on your first movie,
Yeah,
and
and I
then
learned
you
a
went
lot. And
very intimate on the second
yeah,
one.
but on doing that, as I made those agreements, those compromises and
Yeah,
negotiations I was mentioning earlier with myself, one of the things that I did was also look at like you were just saying, and that is, if I'm going to make all these compromises, I want to make sure that what I do get pops.
yeah,
And anyway, I tried a few different things on there as well. Let's talk about meaning of the movie for a minute,
hmm,
of the script, because for me, it is packed with meaning, like on different levels and all this. We're both nerds. Perhaps I am a bigger nerd. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know. But what do
Well,
you
horror
think when you
nerds certainly.
consider
So yeah.
when
I
you
mean,
think
I know you said you watched like endless horror movies before you
about a
started
hundred
working on it.
hours, yeah,
Yeah,
of content between movies and like the series Slasher on Netflix and stuff.
yeah.
But just overall, as far as meaning, whether it's themes, whether it's plot, whether it's homage to horror, what did you get out of Spread? What did you feel like you were putting into Spread, meaning wise? Like what meaning is there for the audience in your eyes?
I
Or
mean,
no?
for me, I don't know if this qualifies, but obviously there's a large political element to it. Uh, and the idea of Hampson the cartoon pig being in there and sort of satirizing what was going on politically at the time and is going on again politically now. Uh, that for me was like the main thing. I mean, but also just the idea that these people were so different from each other. All these characters, especially once you brought on the actors, those characters just popped and came to life on their own, and just they all had impact and they all had weight in the movie. They all had an arc. Nobody was left out of that. Everybody had agency in the movie, even in, as they were getting killed, they had agency.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. I think that's a great thing,
Yeah.
and I think we worked very hard on that to try to give everybody a shot, a chance to shine in it. And because I remember very specifically, I can't remember her name, the main character, Melody Para played her. Amy. When we were talking about her, and we got some ways into writing the screenplay, and we were like, she doesn't have any agency. It's like everything happens to her, and she doesn't have
her boyfriend.
Her boyfriends, her friends, her buddy, all this.
Yeah.
But she didn't really seem to have any kind of agency in there. And I remember bringing that up, both of us bringing that up, and being like, yeah, we need to give her more. We need to do let her do more in the story. And that led to a lot of changes in it.
It did, yeah, going back all the way through, from the beginning. And now her character is so interesting in the movie.
Yeah.
And a little suspicious. All of them are a little suspicious,
Yeah. They're all paranoid.
Yeah, all paranoid and all paranoid inducing.
Yeah.
Paranoia inducing. But I definitely remember the conversations about agency all the way through it. In my session that I bled off onto you about arcs. Because I was like, if we're going to make it work with the red herrings, then everybody has to have a full arc. Because if we don't have an arc for them, then it starts to be really obvious.
10 Little Indians, almost,
in
a way. But these sort of millennial people getting away for a weekend. But yeah, I mean, you had to have each one of those characters. Like, you always looked at maybe the only person in it that you really didn't suspect was Ishan, because I mean, he was kind of like our view of everything, sort of the outsider guy that everybody's kind of like.
Because of that, he was a little creepy sometimes too. Like he was spying on.
Like when he's watching them outside, through the door. And that's the only time that it really feels like maybe it's him, But then other times, you look around at all these different people. Well, he's got a gun, or he's got this, or he's got that, or he knows this person.
Not Ishan.
Not Ishan. Maybe it's the landlord, or whatever. But I mean, you had to have all those red herrings in there, and you had to have each one of those characters mean something. And do something meaningful, and something that you can look at them and really take a hard look at them and say, is it them?
So I think like on meaning level, on the character thing, I definitely, in all the research that I did, I looked at all the plot archetypes, the character archetypes throughout the Friday the 13th movies, the Halloween movies. And like you were saying, I wanted to kind of have a Gen Z millennial thing about the whole thing about social influencers, social media influencers, and how like sometimes that overpowers their ethics, their morals and stuff, and how it's a different soup that they're swimming in than we did as Gen X, perhaps socially, because guys like Antoine, who really aren't bad guys, he does some fucked up shit,
like filming in the shower, and all that stuff,
But what I think when he does it, I don't think that he looks at it like he's assaulting her.
No.
Which I think bad guys don't. I think that's one of the things. Dr. Doom doesn't think he's a bad guy.
No, I mean, Antoine's like, I've got this many thousand followers. You should be happy that I put you on my stream. He told her. You should be thanking me. You shouldn't be attacking me.
Yeah, when they're having that big argument, he goes, "I checked, and she's got 500 new followers in the last half hour."
Yeah.
And it's like he justifies that shit. That feels very Trumpian to me. Which brings me back around to like the politics thing. Another thing on the politics that I really liked, again, patting us on the back,
Yeah.
was that we never say the word MAGA anywhere in the movie.
No.
We never say that motherfucker Trump. We never say his name one time during the
No.
movie. It shows up on like maybe two of the cartoons that flash across the screen really quick.
Yeah.
That one girl's got it on her shirt or whatever. So it's like Trump is God or something. But none of the characters in the movie say it. Jolly says that fat orange rapist traitor,
Yeah.
and that's the closest we get to actually saying his name. So I do like the fact that, like you said, one of my goals for the meaning of the movie as the co-writer with you was to make it political. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I didn't want the audience to watch it and feel like it was political.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you
Mhm.
think we were successful with that? Do you think it feels like a political movie, or do you think that feels like a dark undercurrent?
I think it's an undercurrent because I mean, yeah, there's some fairly explicit things in there that people say, like you said, Jolly
Yeah,
mentions that and the cartoons and all that.
yeah,
But I think the majority of it is that it's just a thriller,
yeah.
you know.
And I wanted to manifest the political differences. I think we
Mhm.
did, honestly.
Yeah.
We talked about it. I think as we kept going back to it, we looked at like Rex and Derek as really the kind of the two embodiments of what we were trying to talk about.
Mhm.
Because Rex was the fringe right. Rex was the fringe MAGA that was
Yeah.
following a cult leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eric, on the other hand, was far from fucking perfect.
Yeah.
So there was never anything in the movie about being progressive is good and being liberal, I mean, and being conservative is bad. It was really like saying we're all humans, we're all flawed, we all make bad decisions, but the type of bad decisions we make are on different scales.
Yeah.
The
Uh,
especially
and
when
I
you
think
find out
that's best
about Rex
embodied
by the end.
in Jolly.
Yeah,
Because I mean, even she's like, yeah, Trump is terrible, but I like the tax reform he wants to do, and I want to become successful and rich like that, open my own gyms and all that kind of thing. I don't agree with something him being a rapist and him being ICE and all that kind of stuff, but I agree with the business side of it. He's a great
her,
businessman,
a good-looking woman, an attractive woman,
Yep.
rationalizing a
Yep.
rapist for selfish needs is very
Like
much
that. That's not a make or break for me. Him
that's
being a
that's
rapist.
that
I
is
still admire him for
very
some things.
2025, man. That is
Yeah.
very 2026.
Yeah.
And we wrote that shit in 2021, 22.
Yeah, right in the middle of the COVID
Yeah,
epidemic, which is one of the reasons why it's sort of like set
yeah,
during the whole COVID
yeah,
lockdown and all that.
yeah. So yeah, like you said, there's that connection between the characters and the politics and stuff, and the
Yeah,
ability to not have to call the politics politics.
yeah,
Using Jolly, using Derek, using Rex, using Amy. Amy is with Rex because he's powerful, because he's strong, because of their history, because of laziness, because of momentum, or what do you call it? Uh, Centrifugal force or whatever. I don't know.
yeah. Just
And
maybe complacency, just not.
complacency. There's the fucking word I'm looking for. Centrifugal force.
Oh, there you go.
But she really likes Derek, and Derek is the
Yeah,
liberal. Derek is not even clearly hetero or homosexual. It's not clear. His
yeah,
sexuality is not clear.
yeah,
He has a gun. He says it's his brother's, but he has it.
yeah,
Secretive. He's carrying a gun that nobody knows he has.
yeah,
And so I like these dynamics that we created. And honestly, I've been dying for other fans to come forward saying all the shit that we're saying right now, by the way.
yeah,
Um, but on the meaning of it, to me, there was this Andy Kaufman aspect. And I think I mentioned this to you. When I wrote the final speech, I wrote that final speech for Pug, and I sent it over to you. And I was like, to me, it's like, because I remember even when you read it, you're like, okay, and I was like, it's kind of a rug pull a little bit. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? And I don't want to say that in the wrong way, but it's almost like Andy Kaufman steps out from behind the screen, like in The Wizard of Oz, and he's been the director here. When you thought it was really uh, somebody trying to be Wes Craven or somebody trying to be, uh, one of these other horror director legends. It turns out they were really trying to be Andy Kaufman and pull the rug out from under you at the end, and the whole movie is about incest, an incest cult. You
Like,
know,
yeah, like you've watched this whole horror movie, and it's been a fairly, like
hence,
something you would see a slasher movie.
yeah,
You've seen a lot of slasher movies, and yeah, there's a lot of different stuff in there, and a lot
yeah,
of trying to be unique and all that. Yeah, but then at the end of it, it's like, nope, it's totally not. This is what's behind all that. All that kind of falls forward like a facade. And then
yeah,
this is the real facts behind it, the real
yeah.
story.
I think it's weird. I have to go back and look at this now, but I'm fairly sure. I'm fairly sure that after the editing and everything, the only time the word spread happens is there.
Yeah,
Is when he says, "All we do is spread,"
yeah,
and then the girls go, "Spread, hee, spread."
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that we never say the word spread
Other than that, yeah,
throughout the rest of the movie.
yeah.
However, the movie does make a great drinking game. Did I point this out to you?
Mm,
So if you want to play a drinking game with spread, sit down with your friends, and every time somebody says the word chill, everybody present has to say chill. The last person to say chill has to drink. Because we say the word chill or put it on the screen
yeah,
countless fucking times.
yeah. It's going to
And,
be like a
and the
Rocky
word
Horror
Hamson.
show.
And the word Hamson. Anytime
Yeah,
Hamson appears on the screen as a tattoo, or somebody says the word Hamson, everybody has to say Hamson, and the last person to say Hamson has to take a shot.
yeah. Like a Rocky Horror Picture Show interaction, audience interaction.
Yeah, yeah, dude, that would be dream come true. Like, or to see people posting their pictures at Halloween wearing a blue tarp and a bloody pig mask,
Yeah.
carrying a crowbar. Um, Now you didn't get to come be out here for the making of the movie because I'm
Yeah.
in LA, you're in Kentucky. Uh, but what are your thoughts? What are your memories about the making of the movie?
I just, on a basic level, I remember being blown away when it was happening. When we started casting and it started becoming reels, uh, that was when I first was like, wow, this is really going to be a thing. This is really, and I had never made a movie directly as a movie. Like you said, I had done Rotten Tail, which had been turned into a movie after the fact. But I had never written or co-written an actual movie from an original screenplay. Uh,
Then kind of got the window open for the whole process.
yeah, it really kind of opens your eyes to how things go, but very specific landmarks along the way. There was one very particular part uh, with Antoine and what's her name, the blonde
Eileen,
Eileen, Euleen. Uh,
Euleen, yeah,
Antoine and Euleen, when they're outside talking and the moon is in the background. And I remember saying to you, "Oh, you got lucky. You got lucky with that moon." And you were like, "Nope, I planned it. I knew the moon was going to be out. I was going to get it somehow. I
yeah,
didn't know exactly what it was going to look like, but I knew I was going to get it." And I was like, "That's an interaction like what we were talking about earlier. An interaction between being prepared and being, uh, you know, being prepared to get lucky. Being prepared to get something good." Not
yeah.
knowing what it would be, but being prepared for that.
Yeah, this is where Jessica Gallant and I got obsessed as well.
Yeah.
She's the DP, the
Yep.
cinematographer. And once I let her know, here's the weather, here's the moon settings,
Yep.
that we both got obsessed. And there's two really good shots in the movie, like you said. There's the one with Antoine and Eileen out on the porch. It looks great. I've had people ask me if that's CGI.
Wow. Yeah.
And then when
Because
Amy,
it's so good. It's so clear between like that foreground, that sky in the background, and the foreground of them
it looks
talking.
like green screen almost,
Yeah.
and
It's
then
just perfect. It's perfectly shot.
And then when Amy discovers that Rex is the killer, when he's killing the landlord,
Mhm.
and she says, "I break up" or whatever with you. It's official. We're
Yeah,
broken up.
we are broken up. We're
Yeah,
not together
it's
anymore.
done. Yeah.
That's it.
There's the moon over her as well, and we made sure, like again, it was like all these contortions that we went through, like scheduling wise and stuff. Be like, okay, guys, we're gonna go do that one scene right now. We have to do it right now. It's like,
Yep.
and everybody get outside. Rex, Amy, outside right now. Get the truck into the yard.
But I also remember uh, when we originally thought about it, we thought maybe there would be comedic elements in it. Maybe there would be maybe to make it like a horror comedy, and there is some
I think
funny
it's
stuff.
hysterical. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff in it that uh, we wrote that I think is very funny, and there's stuff in it that just when you made it, it came out
yeah,
funny. And two very specific things was we wrote that thing with with Ishan when they leave him alone outside. He's under the street light, and he's like, "You leave me alone out here? Don't you know you can't leave somebody alone? They get killed.
yeah. Haven't you ever
You
seen
ever
a
seen a
horror
horror
movie
movie?"
before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's something we wrote that I thought I still think is really funny, just
me
laugh out
too.
loud funny.
And
And
it
the way
looks
he
great in
delivered
the
it was
movie.
absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
Uh, but the other thing was when they're fighting, when they go into like the shed
yeah,
and he climbs up on the thing
yeah.
and Rex is coming after her and she's throwing stuff
The
off
bricks.
at him. He's
Yeah,
there like, ah, and then suddenly something hits him and like,
yeah,
knocks him back. And
yeah.
I just thought that was like but that may not have been intended to be funny, but it's so funny to me to
Dude,
watch.
it's so funny you bring that up. It's like one of the shots in the movie that I've been
Mhm.
worried about since I stuck it in that final edit. I've
Yeah.
been like, is this too much? Because it's almost slapstick.
Yeah,
She
it is.
throws two bricks down at him, and both of them are like bonk, bonk, and hit him in the head.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
it's
just
like,
his reaction to it is
I
hilarious.
mean, you almost get to that point. You're almost like, should I laugh at that? Because I don't know, because the movie has been really serious
Dark,
for the
very
most part,
fucking dark.
dark, and
Yeah,
yeah, and like killing and bloody and all this
yeah.
stuff. Should I
Bonk,
laugh at
bonk.
some of this stuff?
It's
But
almost non
yeah,
sequitur, but it does also, at the end of the day, kind of fit. It's
yeah, it does. I mean, because you need little moments like that. You can't keep the pressure up all the time. You have to have little moments where you can let off some
yeah, and
pressure.
it's so deeply contrasting to his seriousness about "I'm going to murder you."
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
gonna murder you, and then
it's
like a
like
barrel hits
bonk,
him in the
bonk.
face. A brick hits him.
Yeah. And the funniest thing is, all the way through the movie, they've been saying, "All Father knows all Father
Yeah,
sees all," and that's what he just said to her. All Father knows
yeah.
all
And
Father.
he doesn't get. I don't think he even gets through the
Yeah,
line. Does he?
yeah.
Before
She's
the
like,
thing
"Not
hits
this
him, he's
time,
like, ugh!
motherfucker." Wham!
Yeah.
Didn't see this.
But that's the thing that in my head. We have the money shot scene that we came up with and all that, but that's the scene that always sticks in my mind whenever I think about
I was
like really funny things going on in the movie.
I was almost afraid of the very meta lines too, like the one you said, which I love. It's one of my very favorites in the whole movie. The
Yeah.
shot, from the time we wrote it to the shot that I got and everything of Ishan saying, Rex running away, saying, "I'll be right
Yeah. I'm
back,"
gonna. Yeah. Stay here. I'll be here. Yeah.
and Ishan going, "Don't say that, don't you know, haven't you ever seen a horror movie?" But then also when they're inside, and the line that we gave to Antoine about black people horror movies.
Yeah.
I don't want to end up with some machete up my ass, man.
Yeah. This
And
stuff
he ends
never
up
ends
with
well.
a crowbar up his ass.
Yeah.
That was very intended, foreshadowing,
Foreshadowing. Yeah.
as well
Uh.
as playing with the tropes of horror.
Mhm.
And then my other trope of horror was usually, I remember telling you about this after I did my 100-hour investigation of
Yeah.
horror. Every fucking horror movie since time began has a woman running in high heels who falls down and ends up getting killed for her clumsiness.
Yeah.
Every woman I know can run great in high heels, and if they can't, they get them off really fast. So I've
Yeah.
never really in real life been worried about my friend in high heels. But in movies, it's just a trope. So I
Yeah.
said, in our movie, I want to have it where a guy trips and falls, and instead of getting up, he just kind of watches the killer come over to him and fucking knock his head off, which is what Ishan does.
Yeah, and I remember when we were doing like some press before the movie, and the actor who plays Ishan, I can't remember his name.
Jacob Athale.
Jacob Sale, yeah. Uh, we were talking about it, and I remember being on with somebody maybe from around here in Kentucky. We were talking to somebody, and he was there, and I was like, I just want to say sorry, for what we put your character through. It's going to be terrible,
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah," I said, "That's what I like to hear."
Yeah.
Putting your character through a ringer,
But
and
his murder is one of my favorites in the movie, and especially with again the way it plays off of Antoine and Eileen having their little romantic interlude, and
Mhm.
she's getting ready to go down on him, and she's like, "Did you hear beating?" And he's like, "It was just the music, or maybe my heart,
yeah,
And get busy,
uh,
girl.
uh,
And they pay for that. You can't have sex in a horror movie.
yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
Or
I took that right out of Friday the 13th, part one or part two. It's like Kevin Bacon maybe in bed, and they get the
yeah, part one, yeah,
yeah,
part
or
one is where he has the
yeah,
arrow through the throat.
yeah,
I think part two is where they get sheared through
in the
bed.
bed.
Yeah. But that shot of them under the streetlight before Rex runs away, that's a great shot. I mean, that's another great moment of cinematography in the movie. The
Yeah,
way that the lighting, because I think that was all just pure local lighting. It
it
wasn't
was.
like specially lit or anything, was it?
Yeah, no, no. Little bit of working around the scenes, but no other lights involved.
Yeah.
And on that note, man, one of the things Jessica and I are talking a week from today. We have an interview
Mhm.
set up for a week next Wednesday night, and one of the things we're going to talk about is her initial resistance to my idea of using the phones for lighting.
What was the lighting source? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was so into this idea, but I'm also such a novice director.
Mhm.
And one of the things that directors and lighting people are obsessed about is making sure the lighting in the scene is right.
Yeah.
Now, as a more experienced director, I totally get this.
Mhm.
But man, if I had this idea and I was obsessed about it and I insisted on it, and I still remember the day that we got our first after the shots, we did them and went and looked at the review. We were
Mhm.
reviewing the footage, and Jessica patted me on the back and she was like, "You were right," And I just thought,
Yeah.
I've been waiting for someone in my whole life to tell me that I was right about something, and here it was at an important time. Because
Yeah.
they use the phones, and when they're having their conversation right before Flo shows up,
Mhm.
all of them are using their phones for lighting, and it keeps everything in the whole shot dark except
Mhm.
them.
Yeah, because
And
all that lighting is going inwards and kind of
it creates this
shining out
weird
on them.
ball of light
Creates
in
like
the
a
middle.
circle of light for all the characters.
It created like a weird ball of light in the middle. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
interesting that it works.
Mhm.
And it works exactly the way we wanted because of the fact that it's dark and scary and leads up to Flo showing up.
Yeah. And going back to when Ishan gets killed, I wanted to talk about the fact that you had to use very simple methods to
Mhm.
get what you wanted there. I mean, because like you were talking about, you had cups of water, so that whenever you see the shadow of him beating him and blood flying, it's just you throwing water, for
But
blood splatter.
here's a secret about reshoots. You see stuff in movies in the news all the time about reshoots.
Mhm.
And a lot of times you hear you associate this with, oh shit, there's a problem.
Yeah.
For us, it wasn't so much that there was a problem, it's just that when I got home and reviewed the footage, I realized that this whole scene was so tense and so intense, but there wasn't enough.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough footage. And so we had a day set up for pickup shots.
Yeah.
It was a month after the initial shoot. We had one day scheduled for some pickup shots and reshoot stuff. And the only thing that it wasn't really reshoots, it was pickup, was we added the Dutch angle, like where we show the of what you're talking about right now.
Mhm.
That angle is
Yeah. Kind of like this.
yeah, we added that in during the reshoots, and it was our lighting person who came up with the idea because we were all standing there brainstorming about now we're gonna do the Dutch angle, we're gonna do this, and he was like, let's try this. I'm gonna go get a glass of water and I'll throw it right in front of the light and let's see if it works. And dude, this guy having that idea, we saw that, and we were playing with shadows and stuff so much by this point
Yeah.
anyway, that was just the thing. Now,
Yeah. I mean, and that came out so well on screen, because you wouldn't know unless you did it. that if you put a light here, you put people in front of it, and you throw that water up and you project it against something on the background, that
Yeah.
it's going to be that clear and it's going to be that well, elucidated, I guess, on screen.
And here's the big reveal is Rex in that scene is
Mm.
not being played by Michael Denny, who
Mm.
was there for the reshoots but was doing something else at that time.
Yeah.
That's David Ruano, my
Oh,
friend.
yeah.
And our for that his parents own the property and he was also running lights and stuff for us. But
Yeah.
because we had to have Rex somewhere else at that point, David stepped in and he is he is Rex during that. And so overall, we have 3 people playing Rex in The Mask in the movie. We started with Ian, who was
Yeah.
the first one that we
Yeah.
had.
You only shot a little bit with him.
Yeah, just the stuff during the cold
death
open.
of the mother, I
Yeah,
think.
the
Yeah.
cold open. And then Ian dropped out and we
Yeah.
hired Michael Denny. So the rest of the stuff is with Michael Denny. Even when we come back later and shoot additional footage, that's Michael. So we can get the mask reveal.
Yeah.
And then
And then the pickup shots were David.
David, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny because again,
Yeah, I mean
the magic
that's
of
something
movies.
that viewers would not really
No.
pick up on. People wouldn't be able to see that and go, oh well, that guy's a little bit shorter or a little bit taller than this guy. He didn't that doesn't sync up. They're just going to see those characters on screen and be like, that's
The whole
that
point,
guy's performance.
the whole point of making movies, man, if you're the director and you're doing your job right, is to put the audience's focus somewhere. And
Yeah.
when you do that, you're taking their focus from somewhere else, and that's part of what you do with stunt people. And
It's like a magic show.
exactly right, exactly right. So I don't want to keep you on all day. So we got a couple more topics, and then I'll quit recording, and I'll actually show you some other cool stuff.
Yeah.
But you may have had an idea who you wanted the audience to be before going into the movie. You may have an idea now of who you wish the audience was, but who do you think the audience is for this movie, the way that it is right now? The movie out on Tubi, who is the audience for this movie?
I think that's tough because that's like almost like managing expectations. Still, even though it's out and people have watched it, I think it's people who like horror are going to love it. If they go and give it a shot, I think they really love it. But I think it's also good for casual movies. The ending might be a little too far for like casual viewers, but like you were talking about with the facade all comes down, that might be a little too much. But overall, I think it's good for a general audience who are just looking for a good scary movie, a good thriller, a good sort of whodunit, a Ten Little Indians kind of horror movie.
Yeah, yeah, I would tend to agree with that. And interestingly, if we think about it like on a political level, I really honestly think that people from the fringe right would love it.
Yeah, I think that would go over their heads, and they would be like, "Yeah, Rex, he's the hero."
Woo! Woohoo!
What are they doing to Rex, my boy Rex?
Pure bloodline, incest rules. And then, but I honestly think that what's funny is because of a lot of dumb people would watch it and love it. I also think that there's a lot of dumb people who are liberal who would watch it and hate it because they don't get it at all.
Yeah.
And they're like, ugh, you're the problem, mister.
Yeah. I think a lot of people on both sides would be kind of confused by it. To a degree.
Yeah, and then by the end, the people who aren't confused, maybe we'll confuse them too with the right tool. I got to tell you,
maybe they'll get more confused. I don't know.
It's one of the most fun acting jobs I've ever had.
Yeah.
I wish that I had more fun playing Smashed Fruit Guy, but I was
You could do a whole movie about Smashed Fruit Guy. What's his backstory? Where's he from? How did he become a Smashed Fruit Guy?
I was under so much pressure, and our timing was so terrible. I had to just shoot it. I didn't get to play with it enough.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Pug. I loved it, but I wish that I had more. I wish that I had like a whole day instead. I had an hour. To get all that, and I wish that I had a whole day just to do the scene with Pug at the end. And like you said, different angles, different takes. and
Yep.
really sinking into it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much in there. I think that's one great thing about the movie is that uh, it's like any good movie. It hints at a lot more beyond what we see on the screen. You know, it hints that there's a much bigger story back there. Like if you wanted to do a franchise with this, you could do it because you could expand it in multiple directions, which we've talked about before.
Well,
Uh, yeah,
coincidentally, that's the last topic that I wanted to talk to you about.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, cool. And so part of what I've been doing recently is in support of that. As you know, got my own financial issues and stuff going on, so it's hard to put money into the project. But anytime I have time, I'm trying to put time into it. And so I'm doing season 2 of the Lethal Voice podcast. I'm doing these interviews. I'm trying to get the comic book published outside of me. I'm trying to get it in with a real publisher.
Yeah.
And I recently, as I think you know, I sent a full proposal to Image Comics.
Mhm.
And it included a proposal, it included the full 30-page first issue. It also included like 7 pages of art that are complete for the second issue.
Yeah.
So, Image, if you're listening, other comic book companies out there, especially if you specialize in horror,
Mhm.
listening, we need a home and we need somebody to care.
Yep.
And we can keep on doing other stuff. We can continue this story and we can write a million other things for you. And
Yep.
on that note, Kurt, I know you're buried in other projects right now. You've got a lot of
Yep.
stuff going. I know one we worked on together. I worked on your anthology. Uh,
Yep.
that's coming out or it's out. And then also you've been working on Kanan. So before we
Yep.
come here today, tell us what you've got coming out.
Well, we've got coming up, which we were just talking about recently. Always Punch Nazis Volume 4
Mm.
coming out. That's gonna be fun. Storage Horrors. I'm fulfilling that right now very slowly. I'm slow as hell, but
What are you, an indie guy?
yeah. What are you, some kind of indie creator or something? One man show? Uh, but yeah, there's that. I have a Patreon. Just look up Kurt Belcher. You'll be able to find it. I've got a couple of comics running on there, like Delta, which is a lot
Cool,
of
just cool,
science
fun,
fiction, sort of like
fun.
Mad Max thing.
I like Delta
Barbarella
because
meets
the
Mad
story
Max.
is fun, and like I told you in a few quick notes, some of your layouts and stuff on Delta were really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of those cases where I was just like, I was drawing it and writing it as I went. I wasn't like,
Go crazy.
I wrote down some notes, like
Yeah,
this might happen next, this might happen next,
but
but
nothing's
uh,
limiting me. I can just do whatever the hell I want.
yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, I'm just putting it on my Patreon, so it's not like anybody's publishing it and can object to anything I put in it. So screw it, do whatever you want. Uh, but at the same time, I'm working on that. I'm working on writing more canon. I'm working on drawing some stuff for I think I'm drawing some stuff for Always Punch Nazis and writing some stuff. And I wrote and drew my own story that I think I'll send you the pages. I don't know if you've seen them yet.
Uh,
Uh, I think you'll find really funny. It's called The White Cock is the name of the
No, I
story.
did see that one. Yes, that one's. Oh my God, dude. Yeah,
Did you
I
see
love it.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't remember if I sent it to you
No,
yet or
no,
not.
just maybe
Uh,
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. You made some suggestions about some of the dialogue
Yeah.
and like some of the fonts and stuff in there too. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch. I've got my fingers in so many different pies. It's hard to remember all of it sometimes.
I've been talking to you too about I'm wanting to do like a soft relaunch on my Patreon just because of the fact that I'm steering it back away from the idea of Robert's Next Door with that chapter being closed
Mhm.
and really starting to build up the Lethal Voice as a brand
Mhm.
and just me personally as a brand, putting the focus there. Uh, and so as I do that, a couple of things I'm wanting to do over the next year is get a couple of different semi-regular kind of like different comic things going, get something going with you, get something
Yeah,
going with a couple other people, and
yeah, I
just
do
do
sort of like what I've been doing is doing like 5 pages a week.
yep,
You know,
and doing
like
it for me.
installment.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I want it, obviously, again, being an artist and being a narcissistic nerd, I want other people to see my stuff, but really the stuff that I'm going to create for like the next year or so, it's really just going to be because I love it and it's very passion based and
Yep.
not giving a fucking shit about release, distribution, and so forth. I need some
Yeah.
time just
Or
for
even
me.
like content, not worrying about what
Yeah,
content
yeah.
you put in.
I need to spend some time in a purely creative mode
Mhm.
on some of that stuff because I've got to be in such a purely business mode on some of the other stuff right now, like with spread and stuff. I got to find some balance
Mhm.
and hopefully live through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kurt. I
It was
appreciate
so good
everything.
to have a video chat with you again
You
because
too, man.
it's
And we'll do it
far,
again.
far too long since we did last time.
Yeah, let's do again. We talked about it months ago, but I
Yeah.
think my train went off the tracks, and right now physically is completely off the tracks as well. Uh, but as I'm getting everything back realigned, and again this little soft launch, trying to get things going back again. One of the things we had talked about a few months ago was doing like a viewing party of Spread.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think maybe we'll set something up well in advance. That way, there's plenty of time. We don't feel pressure. Like a week, everybody please come.
Yeah.
Set up a month in advance, and that way there's plenty of time for people to come. And if people don't come, we know that it's not because we were under pressure. We go ahead and just do it anyway.
Yeah.
But do like a live watch of Spread, live tweet on like Blue Sky or something while we're watching.
Mhm.
And we'll do something. We'll do something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I'd definitely be down for that anytime you want to do it. Just let me
Cool.
know.
Cool. And maybe we'll even see about if other people, fans, other creators want to get in. We'll loop them in
Mhm.
on a Zoom or something, and we'll all do it together. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe anybody else that was involved with the movie and
But
or the
hanging with
comics
me.
or whatever.
Uh, Thank you for being here. But I'm gonna hit stop recording now. But then hang out for a minute because I'm gonna show you something cool.
Yep.
All right, give me one sec.